Okay, we should be live. I'm going to make sure we're all good, and then we can get started. Is the audio good? That sounds good. Okay, I think we're good. So how are we all doing, everybody? Welcome back to OFL After Dark. It appears Nick has beat me to it. Perfect. All right, that means we can get started. So we've got our 2 conference championships today. We're going to find out which 2 teams are playing in OFL Bowl. Let me find the number. I don't remember the number. We are on OFL Bowl 24. And we've got 2 very fun games in store in the AFC. The reigning champion Buffalo Bills, coming off a close one against the Jets, are going to face off against the Las Vegas Raiders, a team that we didn't necessarily expect to be here in a weak division. But hey, they've beaten both the Bengals and the Steelers to get here. In the NFC, we've got a couple of division rivals. The Cowboys won the OFL Bowl 2 seasons ago. They won 16 games. They look like the team to beat in this conference, but the Washington Commies look pretty strong as well. They have made an OFL Bowl as well. They made it back in Season 1, losing to New England. We've of the 3 OFL Bowls that we've had, one of the teams who was in one of those games will be back, whether it's Buffalo or obviously one of these 2 teams. So Siri's going to decide which game we got first. What is good? Troy, SG, MP, Nick, fitting that the first 4 people here are the 4 coaches his teams are playing. For Kobe Bean, the OFL Bowls for Kobe. Who would have won OFL Bowl 8? Now that I think about it, that probably would have been the Patriots over the Rams, right? In OFL 20, the last year, the cursed year where we had 7 teams fighting for the last wild card spot. That was not a fun season. I have played around with the sliders a little bit. I'm curious to see if we have any change. Sirius landed on 1, which is the team on the left, or the game on the left, which is the Bills and the Raiders. So we're going to start in the AFC, and we land on 2. So we will use... Oh, we're already on the Bills. Perfect. Okay, that's easy enough. All right, I'll get controller number 2 out, and we can pick our uniforms. Aren't all the bowl winners from the East divisions? Yes, you're right. New England. Actually, technically, if we want to go back to the sim year, Cougars, New England, Cowboys, Bills. So if we continue the alternate pattern, it's got to be a new team from the alternate division. There's only one team that fits that criteria, and that's Washington. Is this the Commies' year? Who is Casey Hickman, and why does he have X Factor? Okay. Alrighty. All black, silver helmets. Perfect. They've got black pants in here, don't they? I don't think they have black pants. Okay. Well, these are the darkest pants, if you want to do that. There's no black ones. All reds, 90s helmets. There we go. This is, I guess, the closest we're going to get to all black for the Raiders. I think the normal ones were the darkest. Yeah, we'll do that. Alrighty, the first of 2 games today. Who will represent the AFC in OFL Bowl 24? Across all... Wow, it's actually not snowing for once. It actually looks nice out. For a Bills playoff game, I don't believe it. Anyway, as I was trying to say... Of the 5 iterations of OFL we've had, the Raiders have never made an OFL Bowl as far as I can think of. And they're looking to make it for the first time, facing off against the reigning champion Buffalo Bills. Jonathan Taylor is still out, but Micah Parsons, which pass rusher was out last week? I think it was Micah Parsons. He is back for Buffalo. The Bills are a 96 overall. They're as good as it can be, but the Raiders have beaten two really good teams. Why not a third? Now, as we know, this stadium creates a heavy advantage for Buffalo. It's hard as an opposing kicker to kick. Justin Tucker missed 2 from inside like 30 last week. That just kind of tells you where we're at with this stadium. Cookie Carlisle, of course, is back. How much of an upgrade will he be to the guys that they already have in the backfield, though, with Kareem Hunt and A.J. Dillon? I'm curious to see if there's much of the difference, if any, with Cookie healthy. Obviously, we know how much of a difference Jonathan Taylor makes. And the Raiders will start with the ball. We'll take a look at Hugo Frederickson leading out the Bills offense with an OFL Bowl berth on the line. Two teams who have gotten here in very different ways, looking to represent the AFC. Buffalo State QB, Hugo Frederickson. What a guy. Imagine if the Raiders made it here with Cocky, though. That would objectively be hilarious. We need a Cocky butt cannon playoff run. Unless it affects my team, then we don't need one. But if it doesn't, then I am all for it. We're going to start with a run. Travion Henderson. We've seen some good running performances over the past few weeks. I feel like the passing games have been inconsistent, but the run games have. Except for Dallas, oddly enough. Hugo, looking, he connects. That's Maserati Marv. Marvin Harrison Jr. with the first down. Got a couple Buckeyes on this offense with Harrison and Henderson helping lead the way. The Ohio State Raiders. See, there you go. Short throw. Nice broken tackle by Travion Henderson. Marvin just made a play in real life. There you go. Demario Portis is hurt. He looks like one of the offensive linemen. I'm so sick of hearing Maserati Marv. That's like indirectly Gus Johnson slander. We don't slander our king, Gus Johnson. In any way, shape, or form, even if we're not directly insulting him. Nice throw downfield. We have a flag. That might be an illegal touching. Oh, yeah, he did the Wander Franco penalty. He was out of bounds and then back in bounds. So it's basically as if the Raiders threw an incompletion. That doesn't seem like much of a penalty, minus the fact that the play was negated. The Deshaun Watson penalty. The Karl Malone penalty. Hugo with a strike. That's a first down. That'll keep the drive moving here for the Raiders. Joshua Palmer. He's bounced around. How many teams has he been on? I know for a fact he was on the 49ers. He's been like multiple other places, hasn't he? He might have been on was he on the Chargers at one point? Obviously he is in real life. I feel like he was on the Chargers here too, though. I feel like he's been other places also. The Big Ben penalty. Hugo is 5 of 5. He's been efficient so far. Not looking to go downfield. Which, I mean, do you want to go downfield against Jalen Ramsey and Trayvon Diggs? I don't know. Chargers and Nighthawks. He might have been on the Nighthawks. The Nighthawks have had a rotation of receivers. That makes sense. There's Will Anderson with the sack. And that'll stall out the drive. What did you do? You existed. We were talking about the teams that Josh Palmer might have been on. And we're pretty sure he was on the Chargers at one point. So that's what you did. You employed Josh Palmer. Are we going to get what a punt? Oh, what a punt! Down at the 2. Good work. Who is this gentleman? Give him a raise. The Bills will not start off with good field position. Their offense was not very good last week. They only scored 12 points. They still won, though, because their defense was great. Go to jail. Do not collect 200. Just go to jail. I don't recall signing him. Okay, maybe I got confused because he's on the Chargers in real life. But I know he was on the Niners, and I feel like he was elsewhere. You should start playing the new AJR album on stream. Isn't that the group that everybody except for you hates? I could be 100% wrong about that. Good run, though. Is that Kareem Hunt? It is Kareem Hunt. Over Cookie Carlisle. Interesting. And it's a good gain. So maybe the Bills might use both of them. It looks like Carlisle's in the backfield here. You should retire from listening to music. Yeah, that looks like it's Cookie all right. And he gets 5. But it's good. I'm going to take everybody else's word on this one because majority rules. And I'm going to assume that we don't want that to be played. And also, I don't know if you've heard of this thing called copyright. Not that these streams are monetized. But I'd still rather not, do anything to risk this channel. IT goes downfield. He's got a wide open Jamar Chase to the 48. Cost me a ring. They are legitimately musical war criminals, so they're Nickelback? Second and 9. Wide open is Jamar Chase again. I feel like the defense is kind of the star of this Bills team, especially with their best offensive player out. But there's still a lot of good skill position guys here. Jamar Chase, Devontae Smith, Calvin Mentor, Devin Wilcox, Dallas Goedert. You get the point. The Raiders do have some talent on defense, especially the secondary. The cornerback duo of Christian Gonzalez and Keely Ringo is really good. IT's going downfield. He throws it away. Nickelback until 04 wasn't too bad, and then look at this graph happened. What a classic. There's Cookie Carlisle with a nice run. The Bills are running the ball well early. No Jonathan Taylor, no problem. At least on the first drive. SG, of course, has made 2 OFL Bowls in his career. He made one the last year of OFL 22, which the Ravens almost won, and then they didn't, to DJ Uyunglele, Bengal legend, Houday, and the Rams. Anytime I read Todd's messages, I just read it in his accent. That sounds like a fun way of reading it. Listen to Touchy Feely. That might be the worst title of a song I've ever seen. I know nothing about the song, but that title looks so stupid. There's a nice gain to the 6. That's not Goddard. I think that's the other tight end. The X Factor, Ed Brennan. I heard that was Deshaun Watson's favorite song. There you go. 30 seconds left in the quarter. Hunt goes backwards. Nice play for the Raiders. And there's Ed Brennan. Speak of the devil. He's hurt. Where was this Raiders defense in the fourth quarter against us in the wild card round? Although, to be fair, I'd probably rather lose to anybody other than the Bills than lose to the Bills again, because we've done it so many times. And if we were here, I don't think we would win. I don't think we would beat this Bills team. We just can't get by them. So maybe it was a good thing we lost in the first round. That'll wrap up the first quarter. No score, but the Bills have it inside, they have it at the 3. Okay, I didn't even realize they were that close. Third and goal. IT Thomas goes short. It's a touchdown to start the second quarter. I think that's Devin Wilcox. No, that's Dallas Goedert. I just saw he was a white guy, and I wrongfully assumed it was Wilcox. It's Dallas Goedert with the score, and the Bills lead 7-0. So a good start here for the Bills. They get a stop. They march down the field. They score a touchdown. Still plenty of time, but not a great start here for the Raiders. The other big white guy on the Raiders scored. Devin Wilcox is pretty big now that you say it. I think he's like 6'5". Big boy. So here comes the Raiders for drive number 2. They're hoping this drive ends up better than their first one, in which they did just about nothing. Now that I say that, they actually did kind of move the ball down the field well. Hugo was 5 of 5. But just not a lot of big throws, and obviously the sack kind of killed everything off. Fade route, risky throw, what a catch! I'm surprised Treylon Diggs didn't pick that off. The ball was thrown right at him, but instead Michael Gallup, why can't he make these types of catches in the Dragons series with a ridiculous one-handed snag? Maybe that wasn't even Trayvon Diggs' fault. Although, he probably should have tried to jump and make a play on the ball. But still, Gallup literally caught it directly over his head. That was fire. He goes under pressure. No time to throw it. It's Micah Parsons. The Defensive Player of the Year candidate will be revealing the awards at the OFL Bowl with the sack. I guess Nick probably will, because I don't have access to the Google Sheet. Or at least I don't have the access to the results. Now 2nd and 20. Hugo's going to look short. He still hasn't thrown an incompletion. Although he's only thrown around 8 yards of completion. Which, now that I say that, isn't that bad. But it kind of is when your longest pass is 12 yards. Fumble! That's a strip sack recovered by the defense. That ball looked like it was out, too. I think that was J.C. Horn with the hit. And it's recovered by 93. Yeah, that's Horn coming out the slot. I think it's out. Can we get a closer look? Oh, that's out. That's a fumble all day. And the Bills forced the turnover. They already have 3 sacks here on the first 2 drives. That's what happens when you invest in pass rush. And I guess J.C. Horn as well. The Bills are that type of team where you can literally put anybody at quarterback, and as long as he can fit, they're kind of like the Niners in the sense that all they need is a guy who can run the system, and the rest of the guys on the team are going to make enough plays for the team to win pretty easily. And it's been factually shown now with the Bills because they had a different QB last year. They won the bowl. They obviously haven't won it yet this year, but they definitely look good enough to win the whole thing. Not that that's news or anything, but I think that shows how impressive the rest of the team is. There's Cookie Carlisle to the 8. The Bills' QB's job is to not suck. Exactly. Trevor Lawrence, well, to be fair, Trevor Lawrence played the worst football game I've ever seen in the divisional round last year, and they still won. We've got a flag on the Cookie Carlisle touchdown. I think this one might be coming back. They're panning the camera on Charles Cross. That's probably a sign that he's going to be called for a hold. Oh, it's on Tristan Wirfs. Okay. Well, it is a hold. So, the penalty is the same regardless. From the 14, Cookie Carlisle makes up some yards from the flag. Can Ohio State stat pad Marv's stats as if he needs another reason to be the 2nd pick in the draft? Cookie gets nothing. He's wrapped up by Keely Ringo. 3rd and goal now at the 11. Play action. Thomas, no time to throw it. He is sacked. Trey Hendrickson and friends bring him down. So the Raiders are going to hold the Bills to a field goal, taking advantage of the penalty. They're still going to be down by multiple scores, but it's better to be down by 10 than 14. Quick maths. Harrison Butker's kick is good. I don't know if any opposing kicker would make that, but he will because he's not on the road. I feel like for kicking issues, though, it should almost affect both teams equally. Yeah, Butker might be a little bit more used to this condition, but if weather conditions are bad enough for kickers, it affects both of them. Nonetheless, the Raiders are going to get the ball at the 20. They turn it over on their last drive of the fumble. Need to see some response from the Raiders offense. Can't let the Trevor Bauer penalty ruin the entire game. That was the one good play they had too, or at least the one big play. They're trying to run the ball. Abraham Lucas is hurt. The other Seahawks offensive tackle. I didn't realize both of them were in this game, but they are. 3rd and 4 now. They've ran it solidly on the first 2 plays. I don't hate the idea of the run here. I would expect a pass. It is a pass. Hugo has been perfectly efficient, though. And he keeps it going now, 8 of 8. Hugo not, like, throwing an incompletion and the Raiders still having 0 points is basically like the Jets not scoring until there was 2 minutes left last round without punting once the entire game. That will always be a funny statistic. The Bills did not allow a punt last week. Every Jets drive did not end in a punt, and they scored 7 points. Rigged. It's rigged because we don't have the black pants. Why didn't you give them the black pants? I want the Bills to win. The Bills are my favorite team. I want them to get all the championships. You guys know I love the Buffalo Bills. I'm going to do everything in my power to help them win more. And just add to the gap between the Bills and the Bengals this year. That's all I want. You guys, oh, you did punt once? Oh. Well, that's lame. I thought you didn't punt at all. Now I'm sad. I thought that was like the coolest statistic, too. My day has been ruined. Marv, catch it. Which game are we talking about here? The incompletion, I feel like, wasn't the receiver's fault. Hugo kind of lobbed it up into double coverage. So for all I know, real Marvin Harrison just dropped a pass. He might have to drop to pick 32. To pair up with Jamison Williams and Amon-Ra St. Brown and Josh Reynolds and Calif Raymond and Sam Laporta. Poor guy. Normally when you hear a team punted once, you assume they had a great game on offense. You would think. But not here on Madden. Raiders call another timeout. You know, if they score here, they're only going to be down by 1 possession. Now, the Bills do start with the ball in the second half, but if the Raiders can just get points here, they will be in the game. Hugo's looking for the end zone. Was he in? He is! Maserati Marvin Harrison Jr. drags the 2 toes in for a score. What a throw, and what a catch. Wow. That was an awesome play. Holy cow. Threading the needle perfectly. And he does definitely get both feet in. Wow. That was art. Josh Reynolds is coming to the Chiefs next year. He's not coming to the Chiefs. What even is his contract status? I actually don't know off the top of my head. I feel like we don't have a lot of big guys to re-sign this year. But to be fair, my stock on Josh Reynolds has also gone up since the beginning of the year. Oh, damn. That's not good. I wonder how much money he's going to make. Probably a decent bid. I would guess in the $8 million a year ballpark. I would say he's that kind of player. I'm glad we got a game, but I'm not glad we have to hear Maserati Marv again. The Jets had more field goals than the Cowboys had losses. The Jets had more Justin Tucker missed field goals than they did punts. Josh Reynolds is not a future Chief. The Chiefs don't know how to find good receivers, and Josh Reynolds is a good receiver. So it doesn't even, make sense. There's a nice first down. Bill still with 35 seconds. Josh Reynolds, future Seahawks wide receiver 4. Let's not negate him to the bench. He doesn't deserve that, damn it. Can you confirm you paid off Tucker? Ooh, good play on defense. I think that was Gonzalez. Ibuka, Hollywood Brown, and Josh Reynolds will not be on the Chiefs next year. Seek God. Don't we want the league to be interesting? We don't need the Chiefs to all of a sudden have a good receiving core. Josh Reynolds, wide receiver 3 on the Eagles. I feel like the Eagles need more of, not a Josh Reynolds type. Cookie gets stopped for what it's worth, so it'll be a 3-point game going into halftime. Drew Sanders brings him down. And this one is punted out of bounds. Not that it matters. So that'll wrap up the first half. The Raiders are in the game. They're only down by 3. The Bills start with the ball in the second half. Similarly to last week, the Bills have been the better team, but they're not commanding dominance, per se. So, it'll be interesting to see if the Raiders can continue to catch them off guard a little bit, keep the momentum up, or if the Bills are just going to overwhelm them with talent here in the second half and punch their ticket to the bowl. It'll be interesting. Drake May's going to get caught with a gas mask and it'll fall to 30. If somebody got caught with a gas mask, like the exact same video that Larry Tunsil got caught with, I wonder if their stock goes up. It ain't going down, that's for sure. Raiders team filled with players I made, sort of, but by ultimate creation, they kicked to the curb. Cocky was not amazing in intercept. Oh, did he punt it out of bounds or kick it out of bounds? I wasn't even looking. I just saw the ball roll out of bounds. Yep, there you go. But respect Cocky Buchanan. Not to say that the Raiders would be here with him, but respect him, damn it. Here's Cookie with blocks on the first play of the quarter. Jukes the defender. That's a quick start for the Bills. They get 31. Raiders would still be here with Cocky. Are they beating both us and the Steelers? I don't know. They would still make it because the AFC West is that bad. They could have me at quarterback and they'd still probably win 6 games and get the spot. Here's another nice run from Cookie. I've been impressed with Cookie. I've never thought super highly of him, but he's had a really good game. They're just going to keep running the ball. They already have it in the red zone. The Bills knew, only up by 3, that they couldn't necessarily sleepwalk through another half, and boy, had they woken up. As I.T. Thomas throws it away. He is a legit good quarterback. I will show you guys. I wonder what that means. Cocky Buchanan in Dallas next year is going to be must-watch television. Cocky Buchanan leads the Bills to ring number 3. They still got to get by the Raiders first. IT was sleepwalking. I feel like the Bills as a team have almost been sleepwalking through the whole game. I would say almost the whole playoff run. Wow, Jamar Chase almost caught that. So the Bills are only going to be able to kick a field goal, and thus it will only be a 1-score game. The Raiders have a real opportunity to do something. They can't let this fall to waste. Huge drive for the Raiders. Maybe the biggest drive of the AFC playoffs. I'm not going to say NFC because we've had some wild finishes over there. But of the AFC's season as a whole, this is the most important drive yet. Bills offense shuts down inside the 20. Seahawks moment. Oop, we're in the red zone. Time to suck. 2nd and 8. Hugo goes downfield wide open. To the 30. Who's 86? Is that A.T. Perry? Maybe? No, that's Josh Palmer, who has 7 catches for 89 yards. He's having himself a day. Him and Maserati Marv. So the Raiders have it at the 31 after the huge play. Here's Travion Henderson now. That might have been the worst coverage I've ever seen. This time there's no Yasiel Puig penalty. The Raiders now in the red zone at the 11. Can they take the lead? Getting closer. If the Raiders are within like 5 yards of the first down marker and it's 4th down, I would 100% go for it. You got to be aggressive against a team like the Bills. 3rd and 3, run the ball. I would run the ball, and if you don't get it, go for it on fourth. I don't care if you run it or you throw it on fourth, but go for it. That works too. They pass it and they score a touchdown. Just don't listen to me, and you'll be successful. It's Michael Gallup with the touchdown from Hugo Fredrickson, and the Raiders can take the lead. Who would have seen this coming at the beginning of the playoffs? The Raiders had the lead in the AFC Championship in the second half. The Bills have looked far from invincible through this playoff run. I still feel like in the back of my mind that the Bills are too talented to not kind of start to click in the fourth quarter. But they cannot keep sleepwalking through the game because now they're losing. Hugo's been really impressive today. I am so impressed watching him. He is in full command of that offense. Bills back with it. I feel like Isaiah Thomas has been okay. He's put up good numbers. He's been efficient. He's kept the ball out of harm's way, but he hasn't elevated the offense. And this is sort of the thing with the Bills. We complimented them earlier because this is like a systems quarterback dream. Their system is perfectly designed for the QB to succeed. But the Bills also, I'm not sure if their quarterback is a guy who can elevate guys around him. And right now, they need him to elevate the offense. Cookie has been the best player for the Bills offense today, which is not what I expected coming into the game at all. But here we are. 2nd and 4. Good throw. First down. Dallas is kind of the same way. Obviously, it's easy to tell that what the system is with a 99 overall Joe Burrow. But I feel like both teams are kind of the same in the sense of they probably could dominate more teams. They got to keep it interesting though. We don't want every game to be a simcast, right? If we lose, do I pull the Raiders and blow it all up again? I mean, we only have one more season left of OFL 23, but be my guest. I am all for the fireworks. And I'll be happy to take Christian Gonzalez off your hands as well if you're interested. Bills are moving it well. They've got it in field goal range at the 31. I meant the history real life Raiders. Oh, I was gonna say that'd be on brand. Oh, that was nearly intercepted. Risky throw. I said he hasn't put the ball in harm's way, and right there he almost was intercepted. Lucky duck. 2nd and 10. Here's Cookie. Not much, maybe a yard. 3rd and 9 from the 30. Mike Evans and Marvin Harrison Jr. receiving duo. That'll be great until you lose in the divisional round to the Explorers. Ooh, look at this play after the catch on 3rd down by Dallas Goedert. Through 3, we've got ourselves a game. Through the first quarter, it kind of looked like the Bills were just going to be in control the whole time. They were probably going to win 20-10. And even though it's going to be kind of close, they're going to be in command. No, that has not been the case. The Raiders are winning, and they are playing legitimately pretty well. Here's Goddard wide open, though, with another first down to the goal line until they lose in the divisional round in Cowboys and Seahawks 3. We have to have the Cowboys and the Seahawks play each other in the playoffs next year for one last hurrah. Please. The streets need it. 1st and goal. They're getting close. They got it at the 4. Even if they don't get a touchdown, they can still take the lead. Obviously, you would prefer a touchdown. I wouldn't feel comfortable with a 2-point lead. I would feel a lot more comfortable up by 5 or 7. Thomas is going to launch it in the back of the end zone incomplete. My heart can't take a 3rd game. We're getting a 3rd game, dadgummit. 3rd and goal. Thomas, quick throw. That's a touchdown. Calvin Mentor, Friends University's finest, puts the Bills ahead by 5. I assume they're going to go for 2. Big drive by Buffalo to get the lead and the momentum right back. Here's Isaiah Thomas under pressure, floats it up, incomplete. Jamar Chase thinks there should have been a flag. I mean, it looked like there was contact. I didn't get enough of a look to really determine if that was PI or not, but there's going to be no call. And so it's 19-14. Big drive from the Bills. They only get 6, and they now lead by 5 with 7:54 to go. The streets remember the menace that was divisional round Amari Cooper. If only we could have had that again, but Seattle forgot how to play football in the wild card round. I feel like a lot of teams forgot how to play football in the wild card round. A lot of good teams. Big drive here for the Raiders. Their offense is starting to click. They started slow and they figured things out. Hugo Fredrickson has balled out tonight. He needs another big drive. And he evades the sack, but he is still brought down for a loss of 13. Will Anderson with the initial hit, and then the interior finishes him off. Pause. The streets can remember Jordan Davis stuffing Kareem Hunt. The streets remember Kareem Hunt selling. The streets remember Kareem Hunt winning 3 rings in OFL 20. As Hugo gets completion number 20 for a gain of 4. Big stop for Buffalo. Obviously, the Raiders are going to have to punt it. It's too early to go for it. And you're obviously too far back. Hugo sees like 15 Bills players after him and still holds the ball. Yeah, that was a really bad sack. They definitely don't remember the Plummer era. Oh, they should if they've been paying attention. They'll remember me laying pipe on the other Plumbers. Bryce Young moment. So the Bills get it back. They're up by 5. A field goal makes it an 8-point lead, which is technically still 1 possession. So they are really thinking touchdown. A touchdown doesn't necessarily end the game, but it puts them in a great spot. The world needed Little Job versus Hector. I honestly agree. That would have been fire. That would have been so funny. If not my team, I just want comedy. The only thing that remembers you laying pipe is your right hand. All right, buddy, we get it. I haven't won in 2 years, okay? Let me cope, damn it. 2nd and 4, here's Cookie. Solid run, he gets the first down. Continuing to have a great game. As the Bills are getting closer and closer from being the first team in OFL 23 to make multiple OFL bowls. And for what it's worth, in every iteration of OFL, we've had a team win multiple championships. In 19, it was the Rams. In 20, it was the Niners. We won 3 times. In 21, it was the Bucks with Hobie. Last year, it was Seattle. What a throw! Calvin he was out of bounds. I kind of thought he was in. Not that I got a great angle, or at least a slow angle, as Levi Onwuzurike is hurt. Where have I seen that before? I'm playing as you in Madden. You went 1 for 3 with negative 4 yards and 2 picks. That sounds about right. There's a nice first down. I think it's Ed Brennan. Then you got benched for Tyson Bagent. Poor me. These scrappy, hardworking, daughter-dating white players are killing the Raiders. The 2 tight ends and Devin Wilcox and half of Cookie Carlisle. And the ghost of Trevor Lawrence. I completed a pass to Isaiah Hodgins. Yeah, it sounds like I would have been better off if it was incomplete. Clock is ticking, under 3 to go. Raiders have to hold them to a field goal. 2nd and 13. There's Goddard. He gets 7. Not a bad play. And so now it is 3rd and 6. One of the biggest plays of our entire season so far. The game clock is ahead of the play clock. He should let this run out. That was a bad move by Isaiah Thomas. They do get the first down, which I guess is a bigger deal. I don't know why he snapped it when he did. The game clock was ahead of the play clock. He could have let it run down to 2 minutes. They still got the first down to the 1, so it's still a successful play for the Bills. But I don't know why he did that. 1st and goal. Cookie does not get it. Not the worst scenario for the Bills, though, because they'll flush the Raiders' timeouts. As long as they get it into the end zone, they might be better off getting in it on, like, 3rd down. to where the Raiders only have a timeout left instead of multiple. 2nd and goal. Cookie. He's in! And the Bills are ahead by 2 scores. The Raiders had the lead early in the 4th, and the Bills have responded in a major way. They're going to be up by 2 scores with under 2 minutes to go. And now the Raiders need a whole lot to happen. It's not looking good for them. That's the dangerous thing with this Bills team. You think they're sleepwalking, you think they're not looking good, and then boom, they stab you right in the back, and they're up by 12 with a snap of the finger. Raiders country, let's ride. The Raiders D-line has had a rough day. You're absolutely right. The Bills have been so much more physical up front, which is a big reason why they've been able to run the ball. And if you think Cookie Carlisle is able to do this, just wait until you see what Jonathan Taylor does in the OFL Bowl, assuming the Bills hold on, which is likely. But we don't want to jump to conclusions yet. This is EA Sports. You never know. Oh, I thought that was intercepted. I thought that was game. I thought Jalen Ramsey was housing that. You go on 1st down. It's caught. Inbounds. Minute 30. They need to go downfield. They need a quick drive. They cannot dilly-dally for the next minute. They've got to score fast. This is dilly-dallying. Let's move it. They already have to burn a timeout. 3rd and 7 now. Minute 24 and 1 timeout. Hugo sails it downfield. There you go. Marvin Harrison Jr. to the 38. Jalen Carter's hurt. Oh, boy. So that's bad for a number of reasons for the Bills. For one thing, that's a key starter who could be out for the bowl. Is he going to the locker room? He is. Ugh. Second thing, they have to call a timeout here. So the clock stops, and the Raiders don't have to use any of their, or I guess their timeout singular. Under a minute 20. Why are you guys dilly-dallying? Why are you throwing it short? Inbounds. Cody Malk, the guard, is hurt. And the Raiders are going to use their 3rd and final timeout. With a minute 11 still on the clock. Hugo has time. He's got all day. Go for the end zone. Or that. That works too. Marvin Harrison out of bounds at the 3. Hugo still has only thrown 1 incompletion. 26 of 27. And his team is losing by 12. 1st and goal. The Raiders with the touchdown. So they quickly march down the field and score. But they need the onside kick to stay alive. If they don't get it, it's over. Thoughts on Sherwin saying the N-word. That was, Sherwin's quite the guy. I feel like he's been so angry lately. He's been so mad at everyone. Poor Sherwin. That might be the single worst onside kick I've ever seen. What the absolute hell was that? You know, maybe I should have simcasted it because it was a lot more likely to be recovered in the simcast. Now that you say that, you are right. Regardless, that might have been the worst effort for an onside kick I've ever seen. There you go. The Bills are going to OFL Bowl 24. They're back for a 2nd year in a row. They beat the Raiders, and what ends up being, honestly, a really good game, 26-21. Got to give the Raiders a lot of credit. They were counted out because they played in an easy division. But look, they made it to the AFC Championship. They beat the Bengals, who are a great team. They beat the Steelers, who are a great team. And they hung in there with the Bills until the end. But it will be Buffalo going back to the big game for back-to-back seasons. The Bills won it last year, and they will return as SG looks to be the next coach to get ring number 2. Hugo is absolutely, the Bengals are a great team, and this is coming from me, who's been very pessimistic about us, and for our standards, we were not all that great, but overall, I would still say, in general, we're a great team. We just, underperformed. Anyway, this game. Hugo Frederickson was really impressive. He was awesome. Isaiah Thomas he did his job. He did his job. He did his job well. I'll give him credit. He didn't elevate the offense, but he didn't hold them back. He didn't win the Bills the game, but more importantly, he didn't lose it. Cookie Carlisle, I thought, was really impressive. The Raiders didn't even try to run the ball. which really wasn't the worst idea because they threw it so well. Josh Palmer, Dallas Goedert, Marvin Harrison, all very impressive. Jamar Chase had a good day as well. The big difference, though, is the line play. The Bills won on the trenches, which I think is the reason why they won this game. Will Anderson and Micah Parsons with 1.5 sacks each. And, of course, the big strip sack early, which really gave the Bills some momentum. The Bengals, who are a great team. Yes, the Bengals are like a 93 overall. I would consider that to be great. Even if the team did not meet expectations, I would still say great is a fair word if we can call like 7 or 8 other teams great as well. All right, on to game number 2. We've got the Cowboys and the Commies. Who will be facing off against Buffalo in OFL Bowl 24? Let Bobby Moss Jones back. So there's 3 possible answers for you. There's no in Spanish, and there's no in French. Pick your poison. The number generator lands on 2. That's Dallas. Translation of meeting expectations. Daniel Godley was bunts. Daniel Godley was good down the stretch. Was he good in the playoff game? Absolutely not. He was terrible. But the last 7 or 8 regular season games, he was probably one of the 6 or 7 best QBs in the league. It's just that when it came down to it, in his biggest game of the year, he 100% folded. There's no denying that. He sucked. German, no. That works too. All whites versus all blacks. That boy innocent. From what? I mean, the messages are saved. It's not an innocence issue. Everything you said is saved. I actually know no in German. Is it no? I know no in Spanish. The Commanders have all blacks and not the Raiders. Yeah, believe it or not. The Raiders need black pants, I'm afraid. I speak for all of us when I say the Raiders would have won if they got to wear black pants. 9. I've seen that word before. I've definitely seen that word before. Anyway, NFC Championship time in Jerry's world. The Washington Commanders look to make it to their second OFL Bowl of OFL 23 with their second different coach. They're facing off against division rival, the Dallas Cowboys, who swept the Commies in the regular season, one of which we watched. I believe the game in Dallas we watched. It ended up being a really good game. The Cowboys, meanwhile, 16-1, as Nick looks to make it to the OFL Bowl for his second time in his coaching career. He's 1-0. We do not need to talk about that one win. We just know that he made it and won. At the beginning of the year, I think Nick said it himself, everybody take the year off. It's going to be me and SG. And he's got an opportunity to make that statement a reality, as the Commies are going to start with the ball. I want to resim with my black pants. I agree. How about we resim the entire playoffs? What do you think? That way the Bengals can lose in the wild card round again. When Bobby mosses you, just know he's innocent like Henry Ruggs. How is Henry Ruggs innocent? There's a video of him driving the car, ramming into the other car. What is innocent about that? It's not like somebody accused him or you of doing something. It's literally like a fact that it happened. There's no innocence or guilt. It happened. Kelly Oubre struck by a vehicle. What? Like, seriously? Kelly Oubre's been hooping this year, too. Did he actually? If he did, that would suck. Did Mac just no-look that? Say 9, 5 times fast, and grow a mustache. Yeah, we know I am not growing a mustache. Believe me, I've tried. It ain't happening, buddy. So quit asking. Yeah, he literally no-looked that. Henry Ruggs wearing an ankle monitor all of OFL 22 was cinema. Henry Ruggs never making it past the divisional round was even more cinema. Bobby Moss Jones, innocent like Karl Malone. There's no evidence apart from the kid that resulted in the illegal touching penalty. We can call that the Bobby Moss Jones penalty now. Oh, damn, Hector wasn't lying. Kelly Oubre got struck by a vehicle. Sounds like he's going to pull through, so that's good. Third and 7. Max sends it away out of bounds, and the Cowboys get the stop. So now we get to take a look at the offense. Joe Burrow and Nick Chubb leading the way. Dallas's offense was not the best against the Eagles in the divisional round. Nick Chubb really was not effective at all, which is a major surprise, and they still won. It's kind of like the Bills, who were without Jonathan Taylor, and they still made it to the bowl. Oubre is on the Sixers. Yeah, he's been hooping this year. They signed him like a month ago. Late edition, and he's been good. Rock Chalk, Jayhawk legend. They have like 3 Kansas players on their team. Do the Sixers want me to like them? They've got 3. Max Crosby with the sack. I have a $1 18-leg parlay. I lost because Jason Tatum and Scotty Barnes got pulled 1 rebound short of a $600 payout. Did the other legs hit? That's like so impressive. Over under 3.5 times Nick blames EA. I'll say he goes the over in the first quarter alone. Here's Burrow. Launches a prayer, and it is caught by Nicholas Jamal Chubb at the 36. Who needs Mike Evans, who single-handedly won Dallas the game last week, when you've got wide receiver 1, Nick Chubb? The funniest part about all of this is Nick Chubb is still the second best running back who can play receiver in this game, because we know Najee Harris is reincarnated Randy Moss. Marcus Peters would have been 15 yards behind him. Mike Evans on Trayvon Diggs would be an incredible matchup. I'm not ready to say it's looking like the matchup. We're 3 minutes into this game. But if we got that matchup, that would be sweet. We need Dallas and Seattle because we know J.C. Jackson would have come out down with the ball. You're probably right. Watched J.C. Jackson is pretty good. First and 10. Burrow fires. Good throw. Curtis Samuel inside the 15. You know who else was good? Watched Greg Dulcich. You are absolutely right. Rank your top 5 watched corners. Trayvon is 1. Greg Newsome is 2. That's like... Oh, wait, no. What about J.C. Jackson? Would I put J.C. Jackson ahead of Greg Newsome? At this point, I think I would. J.C. 2. Greg Newsome 3. Xavier Howard might be in there. I know he doesn't make a ton of big plays. I feel like Patrick Surtain's really good and watched. Cameron Dantzler, I think, gets a lot of our interceptions in watched games, but I feel like Surtain is more effective. I feel like there might be better answers than those guys, though. Nice touchdown. The Cowboys on the board first. It's Zakai Ross. I wonder what he's going to tweet once he gets back to the sideline. So a quick start for the Cowboys. They get a stop. They get a score. They lead 7-0. Zakai Ross actually showed up this time. Trayvon, JC, Newsome, Xavier. I'm not going to argue with that order. I think that top 4 is pretty much spot on. Newsome doesn't make plays in watch anymore because that's how much he just clamps up. Maybe you're right. But I feel like Trayvon and J.C. Jackson are just like that good to where I have to put them ahead. Who would be the last one? If it's not one of our guys, which it probably isn't, can you fix the issue with Zakai Ross? I gave him the fifth-year option, and he's up for re-signings. Okay, yeah, I can fix that. I didn't even realize he was a first-round pick. Good for him. Washington back with it. Their first drive wasn't so good. Mack connects for about 8. Desmond King locked up Mike Evans like 9 plays. Okay, congrats. Mike Evans still had a bazillion yards last week. Did Little John just have the seizure? Are you okay? Do you need medical attention? Would Sauce get a mention? I think he deserves a mention. Yeah, he's been pretty good and watched, I would say. He's made his fair share of plays. Maybe not at the level of Greg Newsome, but I think he's been pretty good. JC and Xavier were the same 91 overall team with Patrick Mahomes throwing to a godlike receiving core and still never made a bowl. That's impressive. There's Olave from the Saints. Someone call 911. I might retire as coach and come back next OFL. Did Mike Evans seriously ruin your spirit that much? I mean, obviously it's up to you. You can pick what you want to do. Another nice throw from Mack. They're moving it. Now 3rd and 2. I have no idea how to work with that $97 million for all my decent players. Well, here's the thing. Even if you don't re-sign everybody, the free agency class is going to be loaded. I think people might be overreacting a little bit with their re-signings. Even if you don't bring everybody back, having a little bit of flexibility is going to be good because there might be better options in free agency. Oh, wow, they're going for it. 4th and inches. Najee Harris does get it. But as I was saying, I don't think teams should panic if you have a lot of guys up for paying, as long as you have a decent amount of money, because you're going to have flexibility to spend. The class should be really good. I made sure to free up cap space because of this free agency. See, exactly. The Seahawks are in a position where they don't have as many guys to pay, so they're going to have more money, they're going to have more flexibility. And this free agency class, there's no reason not to go all out. Because A, the class is loaded, and B, this is the final non-sim year of OFL 23. I don't have that much brain capacity. Does it take brain capacity to sign, or at least offer people contracts, though? Does it take, like, too much brain work? Mac really is Ayuk, Olave from the Saints, and Randy Moss in the backfield. He's also got Chase Claypool. If that goes for something. Crickets. Do I even want to re-sign Tucker now? Let me tell you this. No kicker on the opposing team can succeed in Buffalo. That was not his fault. I've been traumatized by that stadium too many times. Good stop by the Cowboys. Mack is 6 of 9. Nice. And the Cowboys are going to hold on to their lead as Washington, after all that, is going to have to settle for a field goal. The Seahawks are going to be in a position, whether it's fully on Bryce, stops doing his best Kirk O'Chains impression, with a bunch of guys back in cap room. So presumably the roster should get better. I know a lot of the other big teams, certainly the Cowboys and Bills, could be in line to lose some pieces. Why don't the Bills get that home field advantage in real life? Because we don't want to make the real NFL OP. Hear me out. Oh, I can't wait to hear what you have to say. What genius idea does Little Jeff have? I have the top 5 pick. Well, that's a start. That's a pretty good start. There's one replacement for somebody who would leave. Good work, Pepperjack. Little John, do you still need medical attention? That was a bad throw. That could have been bad. 3rd and 8. Healthy Jeffrey Simmons back next year. Defensive Player of the Year candidate. That's a big deal. Thoughts? I have no thoughts other than you need to seek God. Pass is incomplete for Dulcich. And so Washington gets it back. Big stop by the Commies. They needed to make a play defensively, and they do. Why can't we run it? It's not like we have a 99 overall running back. Because your team is mid. Drag him. Drag him in the mud. It's not like Nick's team won 16 games or anything. No. They are mid. M-I-D. All caps. Mid. Find Jesus and touch grass. I gotta seek AJ. You do that, buddy. You do that. Mac Jones' screen results in a loss of 3. Aaron Donald brings him down. Should I re-sign Terry McLaurin and with the other $70 million to work around? Who else do you guys even have to pay? I don't remember who you guys owe money to. The one good thing about trading Myles Garrett away is that you don't have to worry about paying him. Which gives you more money to spend. You got to seek the nearest patch of grass. Some defensive or offensive linemen and linebackers. Okay. Well, it looks like you'll have some flexibility. Signing Hassan Reddick and Ezekiel Elliott to those big of contracts might not have completely ruined your cap outlook. I keep forgetting Calvin Mentor was not a first-round pick. Why did we let him slip out of the first round again? Why did we do that to Mr. Collin? Did we not assume the Collins player was going to be really good? We should have assumed better. You should seek some AJR. I don't think Todd should do that. Dallas is slowly but surely moving a little bit. Washington's defense is holding tough, though. They've been really good since that first drive. 3rd and 3. Burrow's Chubb open. Does he get the first? I think so. Yes, he does. Barely. Ain't like I could give him... Oh, so he was a first-round pick, but he only had the 2 fifth years? Okay. That makes sense. EA disaster class. I think with Madden 24, since fifth-year options are different, and since they show up in like the contract negotiation stage, I would think all fifth-year options would show up, even if you had more than 2 first-round picks. I could be wrong. I would hope EA fixed that. Oh, he was a second-round pick. Okay. Still, I would hope EA would fix that. I think Nick Chubb has more rushing yards than he did last week, for what it's worth. 3 carries for 26. He's been good so far after he was not effective last week. Play action. Burrow, nice throw. It's Mike Evans to the 15 for a gain of 20. Jalen Carter is the only one affecting you. Okay. If you had him on the fifth-year option, though, yes, he'd be back, but you'd also have even less money to spend. So maybe it's not the end of the world that you can't get him back over some of the big guns. Because that'll bring us to the 2-minute warning. Dallas has the edge. They lead 7-3, and they have it in the red zone. Game's far from over, but the Cowboys, as of now, are in a pretty solid spot. Here's Dulcich. I'd legitimately rather listen to a 4-hour lecture hosted by Lance on why Taysom Hill should be the MVP than listen to any AJR album. Holy cow. That is about as bad of an insult as you can get. Nice touchdown by Mike Evans, by the way. That's like listening to 4 hours of cardboard, or not cardboard, of nails on a chalkboard. I don't know where I got cardboard from. Any advice on asking a girl out? Why are you asking me? Maybe somebody else here can help you? I'm not your guy. If you're asking the group collectively, then maybe somebody can help you out, but he ain't getting it from me. I can tell you, though, on what Washington needs to do here. With a minute 35, they're down by 11. They don't start with the ball in the second half, so they've got to score here. They've got to do some damage. Even if it's just a field goal, it would technically still be a one-score game, so that's really not the worst possible scenario. But I'd like to see them stretch the field. Washington has been at their best when they've gone downfield. Since Week 18, all their big drives have been spearheaded by big plays. That's my version of Riz. I just rizzed you guys up. That sounds really bad out of context. Holy cow. That's Mac's like third no-look pass of the day. Who does he think he is? My best advice is to not pull a Deshaun Watson. That's good advice. And it's intercepted. He pulled a Deshaun Watson by throwing it to the other team. Sauce Gardner showboating, and because of that, he does not get the pick 6, but he still brings it to the 4. It's all about the sauce. And the Cowboys have the chance to turn this game into a blowout. Speaking of blowouts, the Oregon game's on 2 minutes. I should probably turn that on now. The worst they can do is say no. There you go, Little Jaw. Actually, that's the second worst thing that can happen. The worst thing that can happen is your team is in an OFL playoff game, and Sauce Gardner picks you off and brings you to the 4. That's the one worst thing that could happen than saying no. There's a touchdown. Zakai Ross, his second of the first half. And the Cowboys are up big. 21-3. No 14-year-old goes out to drink coffee. There are definitely 14-year-olds out there that drink coffee. 1,000%. Even if that's not like the typical 14-year-old date, there are still 14-year-olds that drink coffee. There's no way that's not a semi-common thing. Stoss is only stat padding for Zakai Ross. That's one way to look at it. He didn't want to get the pick 6. He wanted to help out his receiver. Now, Washington still has a minute. They've got to score here or else, well, they're in trouble. I don't enjoy coffee that much. Well, in that case, then you probably don't want to do the coffee option. But I'm sure there's still 100 other things you can do. That should have been intercepted by Lattimore. When I was 14, I went on a date to a coffee house, had a burrito and root beer. See, there you go. Let me put you on with this girl. She's probably a minor. I'm going to pass. Not interested. Zach Cunningham is now one of our pass rushers with Watt out. That's not good. 3rd and 1. They've got to do something here, and that's a nice catch. Brandon Ayuk breaks a tackle to the 36. I went out on a date at prom. Did you drink coffee? Now that that's the thing. There's edge rusher Zach Cunningham. Nice play. Tackle for loss. Why is Washington running the clock out? Why are they playing for the field goal? You're down by 18 points. Why are you playing for a field goal, especially when you're not in field goal range? At least he made it. I drank water and only water. Good. Drinking other stuff is bad, kids. Other stuff is in alcoholic beverages. Don't do it if you're underage. If you're not underage, then do it responsibly. Chad Ryland is like Justin Tucker 2.0. Justin Tucker missed 2 kicks from inside 30 last week. Are we sure that's a compliment? So the Cowboys are looking really good. They lead 21-6. They start with the ball in the second half. That Sauce Gardner interception really opened the game right away for them. It's not entirely over, but the Cowboys are in a great spot, up by 15, starting off with the ball. In real life, Tucker, that makes a lot more sense than OFL Justin Tucker when he's playing in Buffalo. 2nd and 11, Burrow in the zone. Gets it to Nick Chubb. Sometimes dumping it off is not the worst idea. Works out on that play. Washington could really use a turnover right about now. If Dallas scores, it's a 3-point game, even if it's just a field goal. So a turnover now is the time to get one, to try to flip the momentum on its head. Washington's got to get something going quickly or else they are not going to win the game. Another short throw and another first down. I think they should allow a touchdown. Genius. Washington's game plan should be throw it deep to Najee and hope for the best. I agree, because it's probably going to work. Chubb breaks a tackle. He brings it to the 31. Dallas is quickly marching down the field. And now Nick Chubb is in the zone. Man, it is not looking good right now for the Commies. If this was the Commies, I'd give the ball to Najee every play. That's not the worst idea. Although Chris Olave and Brandon Ayuk are good too. I put Najee at linebacker. Why is that? I mean, I guess their linebackers haven't been all that good today, so there you go. 2nd and 5. There's a nice play. What a move! Is that Zakai Ross nearly with touchdown number 3? He ran backwards and then turned it into a gain of like 25. That is Zakai Ross. Dallas at the 1. Very close to turning this into a simcast. Keep in mind, we don't simcast the OFL Bowl, but we'll simcast any other game that includes the playoffs. And it's Nick Chubb in for the score. The Cowboys are up by 3 possessions. Could we have... Now, we've seen Dallas choke a 3-score lead from simcast in the NFC Championship before. They still won that game, but instead of winning big, they won by 2. Todd knows that all too well. Washington adds a field goal. Dallas punts it. I want the things on the bottom. Can we not get those? There we go. Washington punts. Dallas back with it. We're now in the 4th quarter. Washington's really not getting much going. Yeah, right as I say that, they're starting to move it. 4th and 1. They get it with Najee. They get a touchdown. They're down by 12. Dallas with a big conversion. 3rd and 3. Nope. Field goal. Oh, they went for it and they didn't get it. Okay. There's only 2 minutes, though. Max sacked by Jordan Davis. 3rd and 11. 17 for Olave. 13 for Olave. Sacked by Corey Foreman. Booty gets 15. 3rd and 4. Olave gets 17. There's 21 seconds, though. Ayuk with the touchdown. Washington needs the onside kick. And they got it! Okay. This just got interesting. 17 seconds. They have the timeout. No way. This is not happening. Mack is going for the end zone right away. It's incomplete. If Nick loses on a Hail Mary in the NFC Championship after this game was a simcast, I don't know what to say. This is the last play. There's 3 seconds. Mack heaves it up for a spot in the OFL Bowl. Tipped, incomplete. And the Cowboys hang on by a thread. Well, that was an ending. No PI, no catch, no nothing. The Cowboys are going to OFL Bowl 24 in what we did not expect to be dramatic fashion, but that's what ended up happening. The Cowboys nearly choke another NFC Championship in simcast, but they hang on. And after all that, we will get the Cowboys and Bills OFL Bowl that we've been waiting for. One of Nick or SG is going to get ring number 2. Mac Jones was okay. He did not look his best, but he wasn't horrible. Joe Burrow, I thought, had one of his better watched games I've seen from him. He was in control, made good throws the entire game. He was very, very solid. On the ground, Najee Harris, pretty quiet. Nick Chubb, meanwhile, was quite good. It doesn't look like he was all that good in Simcast, but in watched, he was very good. Olave with a big game. Ayuk with a big game. Zakai Ross leading the way receiving-wise for the Cowboys. The Commies defense held Mike Evans in check for the most part, and it didn't matter. 2 sacks for Crosby, 1 for Hubbard. Jordan Davis and Corey Foreman with the sack as well. And obviously Sauce Gardner had the huge interception, which I think really proved to be one of the biggest plays of the game. All right, and so with that, we're going to the OFL Bowl. How many times have we had the 2 1 seeds make it? I feel like that hasn't happened often. It was very clear from the start of the year that the Cowboys and the Bills were the 2 best teams. And I wasn't necessarily convinced we would see these 2 teams make it because you don't find the number 1 seeds making the OFL Bowl in the same year often at all. And both games ended up being pretty close. They only won by 5. But they both make it. We're going to look at the Pro Bowl, and then we're not going to simcast to Super Bowl week, or I guess OFL Bowl week, because I still have to do re-signings, and I want to get the first batch in before the big wave of upgrades and development traits. I can still re-sign here, right? Yes. Okay, good. I just want to double check that it works. Okay. All right, we're good. So that means we can't check devs, because then I'll have to simulate. Here's your Pro Bowl roster. How many Bengals? No Josh Jacobs. Interesting. Jeez, so far nothing. Former Bengal Quentin Nelson. Former Bengal Frank Ragnow. We have to have somebody. Come on, we won 11 games. Nope. Cameron Dantzler, there we go. There's 1. One's more than none, I'll take it. Let's check out players of the week. Who do we think won? My guess, I'm going to say Joe Burrow, Sauce Gardner, Hugo Fredrickson, and Will Anderson. I only got the quarterbacks. Max Crow, that makes sense, and then J.C. Horn. That also makes sense. I didn't think of the fumble force. Yeah, we can make a separate save file. That's fine. Why didn't I think of that? X. Oh, no, I already have an X. J. There we go. Let's check out injuries. I don't think there's going to be any for either team. Maybe Jalen Carter. Oh, TJ Watt, you're right. I forgot about that. TJ Watt might be hurt. And then we can look at devs as well. Nothing for TJ Watt. Nothing for Jalen Carter. The 2 best teams in the league are going to face off fully healthy. That's pretty cool. I had 1 Pro Bowler. 1 Pro Bowler club, stand up. Salute. All right, let's see the dev traits. Did anybody go up for this? Oh, got it.